So one question that does come up quite often is, there's another Christian club in my school. Can I still do P7? The answer is yes. Project 7 is an apostolic organization. We're part of the United Pentecostal Church International, and there are other Christian clubs that we have great relationships with, but they may not teach all of the same things that we do. So if the school says there's another Christian organization, you can't have your club, reach out to us, and we're happy to walk you through that. Here's a couple of things on that topic. First of all, if there's a Christian club that meets on Tuesday mornings, meet on a completely different day and different time. You don't want to be like trying to compete for the same people in your school that are interested in coming to a Christian club. So differentiate your club. When you present to the school, make sure that your club has a different approach. And so if the other Christian club is strictly Bible study, try to differentiate your club a little bit and say, hey, we're going to do some Bible study, but we're going to get involved in the community. We're going to have a prayer day. We're going to do other things, so that it's not just a carbon copy of the other club. The school doesn't have, if it's a publicly funded school, they don't have a right to allow one Christian club and not another organizational Christian club. And so if you're running into this, let us know. From strictly a logistics standpoint, we can work with you on that. But I want to just speak a little bit to the mindset of, there's another Christian club in our school. What do we do with this? For starters, I want to just encourage you and tell you this: they are not your enemy.
No,
they're not your enemy. Just because they go to a different church or they have a different set of beliefs, they're not your enemy. There's a lot of people in your school that need Jesus. In the book of Mark chapter 9, there's starting at verse 38. It said, so John's talking here. Teacher, said John, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we told him to stop. Because he's not one of us.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes this is a mindset that perhaps an apostolic student could have. I saw someone trying to do something for Jesus, but they're not one of us.
Yeah.
And Jesus' response, I think, caused him to just stop and was like, whoa. He said, do not stop him, Jesus said. For no one who does a miracle in my name can in the next moment say anything bad about me. For whoever is not against us is for us.
Yes.
Truly I tell you, anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name because you belong to the Messiah will certainly not lose their reward. So what I want to say is this: there are people that may be in your school that inherently don't have the same doctrinal beliefs as you. They're not your enemy.
No.
If they're trying to point people to Jesus, guess what? Let's link arms with those people and make a difference for Jesus in our school. Will there be some differences in doctrinal beliefs? Absolutely. And I think that's a great opportunity to have conversations behind the scenes with those leaders. I've seen apostolic students that get involved in other clubs besides P7, other Christian clubs. Crazy idea, right? And so they have their P7 and they go to the other one and they start developing relationships with those leaders, and they start asking questions. Well, why does your church teach this? And it presents a really great opportunity to have a biblical discussion with a strong leader in another P7 club or another Christian club. So the answer to the question, can I start a P7 club if there's another Christian club? Yes, you can. Yes, you should.
Yep.
I believe that every school where there's an apostolic presence should have an apostolic witness.
Yeah. Well, so let's not let theology get in the way of a good topic, but the reality of it is this is biblical.
Yes.
The Bible states in the book of Acts many times that a great number of priests came to the revelation of who Jesus was.
Yes.
That wasn't talking about people who had no clue who Jesus was. That was talking about other P7 clubs. Same scenario where other people had this idea of who God was, if you will. And then the disciples are like, well, let me show you a more perfect way.
Yeah.
But they did it in a way where it was conversational. Hey, let's talk about the differences.
Yes.
Let's talk about, because here's the other thing. This also leads to, again, going back to, you want to plant a church, you want to be a missionary, you're going to run into people that don't believe what you do. Yeah. Shockingly enough, you're going to run into people that want to combat you. And they may not want to combat you, but it's really easy to link arms, like as Seth said, and just say, hey, let's talk about Jesus. Let's make Jesus famous in our school.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, when there is a Holy Ghost at some moment that's going to happen where somebody's going to feel something and they're going to be like, what did I just feel?
Right.
The friends who don't have that encounter, they're not going to be able to answer it. And you're going to be able to say, perfect, let me show you who Jesus is. So while we're not in competition, we're not trying to belittle anybody, join their club.
Yeah.
And don't be like, don't join the club and be like, hey, my club is so much better than this one. Let's get out of here.
Don't do that.
Join that club. Have a relationship, because at the end of the day, what would happen? Here's a crazy idea. What would happen if God sent you to that school to plant a P7 club, but there's another club, and you bring the revelation of who Jesus is, and all of a sudden their church is saying the whole church gets the revelation?
Crazy. I love it.
What would happen?
Yeah.
Because I have recently heard a story where a student was sharing the gospel with somebody in their high school, not a P7 club, just sharing the gospel.
Yeah.
The kid told his dad, who is a pastor, not like us, and the dad goes, well, I need your pastor to come here and preach.
That's amazing.
The whole church received the Holy Ghost.
That's amazing.
What would happen if you just locked arms and said, hey, let's tell our school about Jesus?
Yeah.
And then the door opens. Because if you cast the net, God will bring it.
Huge open doors. Love it.